Hey guys, I'm Tom at DSC Sport. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you and your family are healthy. In this video, we're going to talk about our line of products for the current GT cars. That would be the 991.1 and the 991.2, GT3, GT3RS, and GT2RS.
Let's start with our DSC Sport V3 Controller. This is a plug-and-play controller that can be installed in less than 1 minute. This is our most popular product because it makes such a big improvement that's felt immediately. In normal mode, it makes the car ride so much nicer. So for those who drive to and from the track, this is a must-have product. In sport mode, on track, the car is faster, more stable at the limit. It just improves the overall experience, and this is all from a plug-and-play controller that can be installed in less than 1 minute. For damper upgrade, we offer our DSC Sport Tractive Coilover kit. They're electronic coilover dampers controlled by the DSC using patented state-of-the-art electronic spool valve with a reaction time of 6 milliseconds. This is the fastest reacting spool valve to manage fluid flow to the shim stack to change damping curve and damping force to DSC's commands in real time. For each application, we configure the shim stack that has a much wider range than what the chassis needs. And then use the DSC algorithm to control damping force to real-time load inputs. The load inputs include G-force, direction of G-force, rate of change in G-force, brake line pressure, high speed, medium speed, low speed, compression and rebound, and vehicle speed. This is a motorsport quality damper that has been available since 2014. We have won a lot of sprint races and endurance races with this package with zero damper failure.
And that was a great race. I knew at the start of the race, I tried to play it safe.
Two new features for this year are 2 millimeter larger piston and a switch from our steel body to 70-75 high strength aluminum body. We're able to save 1.5 pound of unsprung weight per damper. With its wide damping range, this damper not only excels as a motorsport damper, it is also extremely versatile and makes for a great high-performance street and track damper. Our DSC Sport Tractive coilover kits are compatible with all FAL systems on 991. There are two types of FAL systems. The first type is pneumatic, which uses compressed air to lift the car. This coilover is equipped with the pneumatic FAL extension. Compressed air goes into this port, fills this sealed section here, and it raises the car just like a race car air jack does. The pneumatic type is found on 991.1, GT3, and GT3RS. The second type of FAL is hydraulic, which uses hydraulic fluid to lift the car. Here are examples of modular hydraulic lift units. These are available from the Porsche dealer. The modular hydraulic FAL units were first introduced in 2017 on the Carrera S and GTS. Later on, they became available on the 991.2 GT3, GT3RS, and Gt2RS. These two units were machined to be integrated onto our coilovers. Coming up next is Mike Levitas explaining the integration.
Create a high-speed control. We have a high-speed strategy. Okay, what you're looking at is a GT2 Upright, and originally this upright would have had a Bilstein damper, and what we've done is we're running a 44 millimeter Grand tube, which in other words, where it's got more wall thickness and it can handle more load and more overall diameter than even the Bilstein. And the guide in these have almost no stiction whatsoever. They're quite amazing. Fully worn in, they're at like 0.01 millimeter as far as the actual clearance in the guide. So they're just about perfect. And then as far as the stroke, you can see we have the axle lift. We haven't compromised at all on the stroke. We've machined the body, which is 7570. It's a gorgeous piece of material. Machine's like steel. So it's got a 7570 body. We lose about a pound of actual mass. So our actual unsprung mass has actually been reduced by 1 pound. And we've maintained the factory stroke, but yet we're improving the overall side loading. So we can now easily go past 2 Gs on side loading on a McPherson strut. So take it from TPC and DSC Sport to take this beautiful piece of tractive material. And as well, we're also going to be running this with 140 spring rate, which we rated this spring at about 770. Factory damper, the limiting factor was the curve. It had a beautiful curve for the racetrack, but it really would not have worked with this spring combination as far as for street use. So for street use, we have certain forces which we'll need to overcome this spring, this 140. And then at the same time, we're actually able to really run this shock super soft for the real nice low speed stuff like cruising around town. But as soon as you start putting a load on it, this thing's a full-blown race damper. So, and it's operating at around 6 milliseconds, so it's in the 6 hertz range, which is really amazing, and it's impervious to differential pressure. The Bilstein Shock, on the other hand, operates at around 20 hertz, and it is completely affected by differential pressure. And what I mean by differential pressure is when this piston rod is moving up and down, it's displacing fluid. And as that's displacing fluid during that cycle, the actual Bilstein can't change the location of the damper during that time. It has to find dead time on the damper. That distance between up and down, we refer to that as the dead time, where the tractive shock is completely impervious to differential pressure. This baby can be at 10 inch per second and make a change at 6 milliseconds, 6 hertz. That's unbelievable. So that's why we've partnered up with Tractive, and that's why we have totally chosen Tractive for this particular job.
Yeah, with the DSC controller, this is a no compromise setup
Oh,
for street and track.
Tom, this is unbelievable, because the DSC, we're operating the commands where only limiting factor is micro time, which almost doesn't exist. We're getting all the inputs and outputs. We're delivering everything at 512,000 bits per second. So totally, to have a shock responding at 6 hertz is just amazing.
And the DSC has dynamic engine mount control.
Totally. This car will not only have an amazing suspension, which will have the performance of a GT3R in chassis. It'll have the ride of a factory road car, but even maybe a little nicer. It'll have the manners of a street car, and it'll still, the DSC controller will even lock up the rear engine mount like a cup car, like having an R car, just a metal mount. So anytime that the rate of change is changing dramatically, that engine mount is going to lock up so that you don't get any of this, this kind of like you're waiting for the gearbox and the engine to take a set. And that's what you feel a lot of times when you go into a corner. You're braking, and let's say the factory is not doing anything longitudinally, so you can be braking and the engine's going for a ride until you hit a lateral load. When you hit the lateral load, yeah, the factory will start to lock up, but by that time, you're in the front end of the corner. And then you're waiting for the set in order to get the car running. So anytime you think like in a GT Porsche, you've waited for the set, you're actually waiting for the engine to catch up with the chassis.
Yep, it's perfect explanation, Mike. So one more time, we incorporate the factory front axle lift without losing stroke.
Totally. We have literally machined this beautiful piece of 7570 aircraft material. And this is one beautiful piece of material. We have no compromises whatsoever when we are working with tractive shocks. DSC Sport is a no compromise company, and we have this is a beautiful piece right here.
Yeah, this inner tube looks massive. I believe the stock one is 36 millimeters or somewhere around there.
Oh, we're in the 44, man. Plus we got a heavier wall thickness. No, you got to hit this car into a wall in order to bend this puppy. But the beautiful thing is the guys from Tractive are really the original WP guys, and their background is in MotoGP and motocross bikes. And the bend allowance between the guide area and this tube is so perfect that you get no stiction whatsoever. In the Bilstein Shock and some others, it's not so much an issue, because between waiting for the dead time and hysteresis and the valving, you don't necessarily find it. This shock is a piece of artwork.